While they sleep in, you're already up grinding. While they scroll, you're building. While they rest, you rise. That's the difference. Discipline doesn't take weekends off, and neither should you. The man who refused to waste another weekend. He was just another face in the crowd. No one clapped. No one saw it. But he felt it. Power. Control. Self-respect. That weekend didn't make him famous. But it made him dangerous. Because now he had discipline. And that was the day his life stopped being random and started being intentional. While the world rested, he rose. That was the start of everything. And it can be your start, too. The weekend. 2 days that make or break champions. 2 days where the average mind takes a break. But the disciplined one? That mind sharpens. Let's get real. For most people, the weekend is their excuse. An escape. A permission slip to quit on their goals for 48 hours. They say things like, "I'll get back on track Monday. I deserve to relax. It's just 2 days, what harm can it do?" Let me tell you something that'll sting if you're not ready. Your weekend habits are either delaying your dream or delivering it. There's no neutral zone. You're either rising or rotting. Winning or whining. Progressing or pausing. And guess what? Success has no weekend mode. Do you think the world's best athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, and leaders rest just because it's Saturday? Do you think Michael Jordan stopped practicing free throws because it was Sunday? Do you think Steve Jobs stopped innovating when the calendar hit the weekend? Winners don't follow the world's schedule. They follow their mission. And that mission demands discipline, especially when no one is watching. Because while the world sleeps in, scrolls endlessly, eats junk food, and numbs their minds with meaningless entertainment, you need to be training, planning, executing, studying, improving, even if it's uncomfortable. Especially when it's uncomfortable. Discipline isn't a punishment, it's your freedom. Let's fix a misconception. Discipline isn't about restriction. It's not about suffering. It's not some miserable grind. Discipline is control. Control over your time. Control over your mind. Control over your future. Without it, you're a slave to impulses. A puppet pulled by strings of emotion, laziness, distraction, and peer pressure. But with it, you're free. Because no one and nothing owns you. When others are binge-watching shows, you're binge-building your dreams. When others are wasting energy chasing dopamine, you're chasing destiny. When others are losing time, you're investing it. That's the power of weekend discipline. The dangerous lie, "I'll do it later." That sentence, "I'll do it later," has killed more dreams than failure ever has. "I'll do it later" becomes, "I'll work out next week." "I'll wake up early when I'm less tired." "I'll start my business when the timing is right." I'll read that book when I have more free time. I'll write that plan when I'm in the mood. And guess what? That later never comes. Because the same undisciplined habits keep showing up every weekend like a virus. Until years pass. And you're still stuck. Still dreaming. Still wondering where your momentum went. You didn't lose it. You gave it away 2 days at a time. So what's the cure? Commitment over comfort. You have to rewire your brain to prioritize commitment over comfort. Let me ask you, what matters more, a moment of relaxation or a lifetime of results? A night out or a future you can be proud of? A lazy Sunday or a legacy? You can't have both. And the world's most disciplined people? They know this. They've sacrificed temporary pleasures to earn permanent power. They've skipped parties to build purpose. They've replaced excuses with execution. They've turned weekends into weapons, not weaknesses. That's your next level. That's where your life changes. How to build weekend discipline, starting now. Let's get tactical. You want to rise while they rest? Here's where you begin. 1. Create a non-negotiable weekend routine. Even if it's minimal, commit to these. Wake up early. Not because you have to, but because you choose to. Plan your day the night before. Don't wake up confused, wake up focused. Train your body. A 20-minute workout beats 2 hours of regret. Train your mind. Read 10 pages. Write 1 page. Listen to 1 podcast. Execute 1 action toward your dream. Record. Build. Sell. Serve. 1 action compounds over time. 2. Limit digital distractions. Unfollow mediocrity. Mute nonsense. Cut the entertainment overdose. What you consume is what you become. Turn your phone into a tool, not a toy. Use it to learn, grow, network, sell, or build. If it's not helping you rise, it's helping you rest in failure. 3. Do 1 thing that makes you uncomfortable. Every weekend. Train your mind to embrace resistance. Cold shower. Long run. Difficult conversation. Personal audit. Wake up alarm with no snooze. Why? Because discomfort sharpens discipline. If you only do what's easy, you stay weak. But if you consistently do what's hard, you become unstoppable. 4. Visualize your Monday like a champion. Sunday isn't rest day. It's preparation day. Don't enter the week like a zombie. Enter like a warrior. Use Sunday night too. Plan your priorities. Recommit to your purpose. Visualize success before it arrives. Discipline begins before the battle starts. Let's be clear, no one's coming to save you. No mentor. No book. No motivational speech. Not even this one. They can guide you, push you, but ultimately, It's on you. You have to get up. You have to show up. You have to push through the weekend temptations that steal your greatness. Because while they rest, you rise. And if you can do that every weekend, over and over, you become the kind of person no one can ignore. You become a disciplined machine in a world full of excuse makers. You become unstoppable. Absolutely. Let's continue your 45-minute motivational speech titled, "You're not lazy, you're undisciplined by default." Let's be honest. You're not broken. You're not weak. You're not lazy at your core. But the world trained you to believe that discipline is hard. That success is for the few. That weekends are for rest, comfort, and tapping out from the grind. But here's the truth. You've been trained wrong. You've been conditioned by distractions, numbed by comfort, seduced by the dopamine of scrolling, snacking, and snoozing. And none of that reflects your true identity. Because deep inside, you're a warrior. But that warrior doesn't show up by accident. It shows up by intention. And intention starts when you say, "I'm done letting impulse control my future. I'm done letting comfort destroy my calling. I rise now, and I rise in silence." The real you versus the weekend you. Let me ask you something. Who are you on the weekend when nobody's looking? Not the person you post on Instagram. Not the one with a nice bio or quote in your story. I'm talking about the version of you that exists in silence. Are you the discipline builder? The focused student of life? The person who honors their word even when no one else is watching? Or are you the excuse maker who waits for Monday? The comfort seeker who loses momentum every 7 days? The undisciplined version you swore you'd never become? Here's the hard truth. Your future is being built in those quiet weekend hours. No audience. No lights. Just you and your standard. Every weekend is a door you either walk through or watch it close. Every weekend is a chance to restart, to realign, to rise higher than you did last week. But most people waste it because they see weekends as a break from discipline, not a chance to sharpen it. But champions, they don't take time off from purpose. They use weekends to go deeper, to detach from noise and lock in on themselves. That's why they win. While others are distracted, they're designing. While others sleep in, they step up. While others chase pleasure, they chase greatness. And it's not about being perfect. It's about being relentless. Discipline is built in the dark. Let me tell you a story. There was a young boxer. Talented, but unfocused. He trained hard when people were watching. When the gym was full, he gave everything. But when he was alone, he cut corners. He'd skip the last rep. He'd leave early. He'd cheat the clock. Until one day, his coach stopped him. He said, You don't rise in front of the crowd. You rise when no one sees you. Every minute you waste when no one's watching, your opponent gains one. That moment hit like a punch. He realized. Discipline isn't built in public. It's built in private. So he changed. He showed up early. Stayed late. Trained in silence. No applause. No crowd. And one day, he stepped into the ring and dominated. Not because he had more talent, but because he was forged in silence. That's what the disciplined do. They don't need noise. They don't need credit. They don't need validation. They just rise, while everyone else rests. Your environment is either fueling you or failing you. Let's get real about your circle. You can't build discipline if you're surrounded by people who celebrate laziness, joke about procrastination, normalize sleeping in, say you've changed when you choose growth. You don't need friends who pull you back, you need teammates who push you forward. Because your environment shapes your identity. Look around. Who are you listening to on the weekends? What voices are you feeding your mind with? What spaces are you stepping into? Are they aligned with discipline or distraction? Here's a rule. If it's not building you, it's breaking you. If it's not elevating you, it's eliminating your edge. You have to protect your environment like your future depends on it, because it does. Lock-in mode, silence is your advantage. There's power in going dark. Not hiding. Not disappearing. But sharpening in silence. When you stop broadcasting every move. When you stop needing applause for every action. When you stop looking for validation. You unlock a different level of discipline. Because now you're not doing it for attention. You're doing it for alignment. You're doing it for legacy. That's why the disciplined win. Because they're not loud, they're lethal. They don't talk, they transform. Mental toughness isn't a gift, it's a muscle. And guess when it grows the most? On the weekends. When your body says rest, but your mind says let's go. When your friends call, but your purpose calls louder. When distractions shout, but your vision whispers, and you listen. That's when your mental toughness is born. Every rep in the gym. Every hour on your craft. Every decision to say no to comfort. It's all training your inner savage. That version of you who doesn't flinch, doesn't fold, and doesn't wait for Monday. Your reflection is watching. At the end of the day, the one person you can't lie to is you. You know if you gave your all this weekend. You know if you stuck to the plan or bailed on your purpose. You know if your actions matched your ambition. And if they didn't? Own it. Don't run from it. Face it. Because the moment you start telling the truth to yourself, even the uncomfortable truth, that's the moment your discipline stops being temporary and becomes your identity. Let's etch this in your mind. While they rest, I rise. Say it to yourself. Out loud. Every morning. Every weekend. Every time you're tempted to tap out. This isn't about working 24/7. This is about owning your 48. Those 48 hours on the weekend that most people waste. That's your advantage. That's where you pass them. That's where you grow. That's where you win in silence. It starts with one disciplined weekend. One weekend. One decision. One moment where you say, "Not this time. I'm not falling off again." That's where it starts. You don't need 10 perfect weekends to build momentum. You need one intentional weekend to say, "I'm done being average." The game changes the moment you prove to yourself that discipline isn't something you do, it's who you are. And once that switch flips, every weekend becomes a weapon. Every early morning becomes a silent victory. Every small, disciplined decision becomes a piece of your new identity. Because now, you don't just act like the version of you admire. You are that version. Discipline is the bridge between who you were and who you're becoming. Let's break it down. Most people stay stuck because they want change without transformation. They want results without responsibility. They want success without sacrifice. But it doesn't work that way. You don't just get what you want. You get what you consistently commit to. And that's what separates dreamers from doers. The dreamer says, "One day I'll change." The disciplined one says, "This weekend, it starts." And when that decision is made, week after week, in silence, without recognition, your identity starts to shift. Not in public. Not on social media. But in the mirror. Suddenly, you see a different reflection. Sharper. Stronger. Focused. Controlled. You're no longer someone trying to be disciplined. You're someone who is. Compounding discipline, the power of stacked weekends. Let's get practical. Imagine stacking 4 weekends in a row, not perfectly, but deliberately. Here's what happens. Week 1, you eliminate distractions, wake up early, read, train, and plan. Week 2, the habits feel more natural. You don't resist the grind, you crave it. Week 3, others start noticing. You're more locked in. More intense. Week 4, your confidence explodes. You realize, this isn't a phase, it's a lifestyle. Each weekend builds on the last. Each action stacks. Each discipline deepens. That's compound momentum. It's not always loud. But it's lethal. Because by the time others are still getting back on track, you're already miles ahead, mentally, physically, emotionally. You didn't sprint. You stacked. Discipline protects you from the old you. Discipline doesn't just build the new you. It defends you from the old one. That version that slept in on weekends, made promises but never kept them, quit at 70%, chased pleasure over purpose, Talk big, but acted small. That version doesn't vanish overnight. It waits. It watches. And it strikes the moment you slip, especially on weekends. But discipline? Discipline is your shield. It protects you from yourself. It says, "I don't care how I feel, I do what I said I would do." It holds the line when motivation fades. It stays steady when emotions swing. It stays sharp when the world softens. And the more you feed it, the stronger it grows. The harder it is to break. Identity is a product of repeated evidence. You don't build confidence by thinking positive thoughts. You build it by collecting evidence that says, "I am disciplined. I follow through. I show up even when it's hard. I don't quit, even when no one sees it." And where do you gather that evidence? On the weekends. When it's quiet. When there's no one to impress. When your future self is the only one watching. Every time you wake up early. Every time you train when you don't feel like it. Every time you say no to what's easy. You stack evidence. And that evidence becomes identity. Weekend warriors become weekday kings. Let me break something to you. The way you win Monday isn't by setting your alarm that morning. It's by crushing Sunday with clarity. It's by owning Saturday with structure. It's by being so disciplined over the weekend that by the time Monday hits, you're already in motion. That's what elite performers do. They don't start the week trying to build momentum. They enter the week already on fire. Because discipline doesn't reset on Monday. It's 7 days a week. It's 365. And when you master your weekends, you stop playing from behind. Weekend discipline equals bulletproof foundation. Picture your dream life like a skyscraper. The taller it rises, the deeper the foundation must go. That foundation? It's discipline. Built in silence. Built in the grind. Built during the weekends when everyone else is coasting. You think you're losing time? You're building depth. You think no one sees you? You're becoming unshakable. And soon enough, when pressure comes, you won't break. When setbacks hit, you won't fold. When success shows up, you'll be ready. Because you were forged in silence. You were built in the dark. You were disciplined when it didn't matter, so now you matter more than ever. Your destiny can't afford another lazy weekend. If you forget everything else, remember this. Every weekend is a vote. You're voting for the future you want. You're either casting a vote for your higher self, or handing a vote to your comfort zone. Which one are you feeding? Because you don't become unstoppable by doing what's convenient. You become unstoppable by doing what's required. And what's required is that you rise while they rest. You've come this far. You've heard the truth. Now there's just one question left. Will you act on it or forget it? Because every time you hear a message like this, every time something inside you stirs, and every time your soul says, "Yes, this is what I need," you're standing at a fork in the road. One path is familiar. It's the lazy weekend, the snooze button, the mindless scrolling, the temporary comfort that always leads to long-term regret. The other path is discipline. It's early mornings. It's cold showers. It's planning. It's discomfort. But most importantly, it's transformation. And only one of these paths leads to the future you keep saying you want. So what now? Build the discipline you swore you'd have. You've said it before. This time I'm serious. This year I'm going all in. I'm tired of starting over. But this time, don't say it, prove it. Prove it when the alarm rings. Prove it when the temptation shows up. Prove it when Saturday comes and you feel like slacking. That's the moment where discipline wins, or excuses win. That's the moment where legends are made, not in stadiums, but in silence. And that silence? That discipline? That invisible work you do when no one claps? It will echo into everything you touch. Make discipline your shield and your sword. This isn't just about working hard. This is about protecting your greatness. Because you will be tested. There will be weekends when you feel unmotivated. There will be days when your mind begs for the old habits. There will be moments when quitting feels easier than continuing. But if you built your weekends right, if you forged your will in the fire of discipline, if you said no enough times to what doesn't serve you, you won't break. You'll bend. You'll get hit. But you won't fold. Because you were built different. You were built with discipline. Candle hash your silent work becomes your loud results. People will ask, how did you level up so fast? When did you change? Where did this version of you come from? And you'll smile because they weren't there. They weren't there. When you said no to the party and yes to your purpose. When you woke up at 5 a.m. on Sunday to get ahead. When you worked on your craft while others watched Netflix. When you chose pain, growth, silence, and structure over noise, ease, and excuses. You'll smile because they're just now seeing the results. But you've been doing the work. While they rested, you rose. No entry sign, let today be the last day you break a promise to yourself. That's what this is about. Not perfection, but integrity. If you can't trust yourself, how can you trust your future? Every time you skip the work, you weaken your belief. But every time you do it anyway, even when it's hard, you sharpen your identity. So let today be the day you say, I don't break my word anymore. I don't fold on weekends anymore. I am disciplined, not just in public, but in silence, in solitude, in struggle. Because the world is watching? No. Because you are. And you know what you're capable of. Now it's time to live like it. Choose discipline over distraction. Right now, you have a choice. You can close this video, Go back to your habits. Fall into the weekend trap again. Or you can make a decision that shifts everything. To start small. To show up. To rise when no one expects it. To become the person who doesn't need hype, because your consistency speaks louder than noise. This is your moment. This is your line in the sand. This is your defining weekend. Stop saying enough talk. Enough planning. It's time. The clock is ticking. Your future is watching. And your potential is waiting. So stop looking for motivation. Start creating momentum. Pick up the book. Write the plan. Take the walk. Make the video. Build the product. Study the skill. Move your body. Shut off the noise. Lock in. Lock down. Lock forward. You don't need another hype speech. You don't need more time. You don't need a perfect schedule. You need to move. Right now. Because while they rest, you rise. And in the end, discipline wins.